how about the language? Like, obviously you knew English because you worked with an American company, right?
Yeah.
Like picking up slangs and stuff like that. I mean, for me, I guess, so I came to the US when I was like 11, 12 years old. And let me tell you, I didn't know what what's up meant. What's up? When people say what's up to me, I'm like,
Like, what's going on? Yeah.
yeah, I had no idea what's going on. I'm like,
Yeah.
I never responded back to them. That's like my first slang when I learned. I'm like, oh, they meant to say hello. Okay. And I was
Yeah.
like, so for you, how was that transition? Just wondering.
I think it was challenging to some extent. Again, we used to talk to our folks from New York a lot, and when they would come over to India for work, they would spend a lot of time at work and during happy hours later in the evening. So I picked up a few things because of that exposure. But coming here and getting acquainted with that language and the lingo all the time was initially challenging. And I'm always learning something new. Even today, there are things where I would not realize what they're talking about.
Yeah.
A friend of mine pinged yesterday saying that Rona numbers are increasing, and I, for a moment, did not understand what he meant.
You didn't know what Rona was?
Then I connected the dots.
Either I didn't know what Rona meant for a while either. Like,
what, you didn't know it either?
Well,
yeah, then I
so like
realized
it is interesting how American like language is like there's always slang that's coming up.
every time,
like,
every day.
You listen
every day.
to like young kids talk and you
Yeah.
can't understand them. I don't know what they're talking about.
yeah.
Like, I mean, I think 4 months ago, 5 months ago, I just found out what body count meant. I was like, what the hell? Why? I'm like,
Yeah, that's a young purple thing too.
yeah, and I'm like, I guess, you know, we're all, I mean, we're getting older also, first of all, and I think it's a generation thing, could be probably, but part of it is that though, like, I mean, for me, it was one of the biggest struggle actually, like in order to kind of quote fit in a sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you're in school, I feel like fitting in is a key. But I mean, at work, at least you can get away with that slightly because you don't see them every single day, or you don't. So, and especially working with different teams. So, and unless you see them happy hour, that's a different story though. But,
we also had a thing where like the slang that we would use, Mike, in college was different than the people that I was working with because they were like a younger generation slightly. They were like 5 years younger or something. So what was something like that we would use? But like we would say stuff like "get crunk," and they would not know what that means. They'd be like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean crunk?" And I was like, "Oh, that's what we said when we were in college."
Yeah, that's become a thing. Has become a thing since like 2 years now, thanks to Robert with a lot of our friends that we use that term, which otherwise we would have not learned at all.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, you get exposed to it though. Yeah.
It's not just a language. There are so many differences in general. If you think about how in India we play soccer and in America we play football, and the rules are completely different. And in soccer we have halves, and in American football you have quarters. So there's always
the sports different though, obviously, right? The sports
a lot is different. You know, picking up all of that and understanding how things work and what people are saying is a challenge initially.